Full Council. I am Councillor Jeremy Cottam, Chairman of West Berkshire Council. The meeting is being live streamed via YouTube, so members of the public are able to follow proceedings. Council members are present in the council chamber for this meeting. Any member of council who are in attendance remotely will be entitled to speak and ask questions when invited to do so by myself. The officers in attendance are Chief Executive Nigel Lynn, Executive Director for Resource Joseph Holmes, the Executive Director for Children's Social Care Anne-Marie Dodds, the Executive Director for Adult Social Care Paul Coe, and the Executive Director for Place Claire Lawrence. Sarah Clark, the monitoring officer, will be the legal advisor to this meeting. I'm assisted by Ben Ryan, the clerk to the meeting, and by Stephen Chard, who will be the Zoom host. Welcome, Honorary Alderman in attendance. Before we start this meeting, I would like to take the opportunity to remind members that we are all subject to the Council's Code of Conduct, which requires us to uphold certain standards, including, importantly, respect. Members across the chamber may not always agree with one another, but I would ask that in our disagreements we endeavour to always be respectful of others' views. I would like to ask that members of the public attending this meeting refrain from approaching councillors unless they are invited to do so. During the meeting, when a motion has been proposed and seconded, I will ask the monitoring officer to conduct a vote. We actually don't have any today, I believe. So I will now ask the monitoring officer to outline how the meeting will be conducted.
Thank you, Chairman. We have dealt with the formalities, so we can move on to the next item.
Thank you. So we go to item 1, apologies for absence. May I ask the monitoring officer if any apologies for absence have been received, please?
Thank you, Chairman. We've received apologies from councillors Clive Hooker, Eric Pattenden, Martha Vickers, and from yourself, Councillor Jeremy Cottam, at the conclusion of the presentations this evening. We've also received apologies from Honorary Aldermen and Alderwomen Jeff Beck, Paul Bryant, Keith Chopping, Alan Law, and Molly Locke.
Thank you. I believe we also have from Jeff Mays.
We have Eric Pattenden.
And Martha Vickers
yes.
Also.
Sorry, thank you. Councillor Colston.
Oh, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Oh, and Councillor Janine Lewis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, fine. We will go to item 2 and my last chairman's remarks. I won't make them too long. I do promise. It's just a page. Don't need to panic. Basically, it's a big thank you all round for what has been a great year. To members for the respect shown for the position of chairman, that is always welcome and always done very well. The great job by all of the West Berkshire Council staff, which I have visited all of the departments personally at Christmas. Also, I have visited our resource centres, libraries and care homes. To show our community, basically on deference and recognition to the memorial parades, not only the one that's held in London, but maybe less well known is the RAF Welford, where sadly a crew trying to get back crashed and all aboard died. And why I say this is because the relatives of these people turned up at the memorial, and it was, well, you got a little bit choked. It was very, very, I mean, all these young men in their early 20s, just doing their duty, as were all of the people we at the remembrance memorials. So also I visited many community organisations and charities, too many to mention them all. Basically, that we find that the chairman's duty is not only here to look after councillors at full council, but also to put forward the face of the council to the local organisations. And it's been warmly received wherever I've been. And I will mention just a few because as I have mentioned them beforehand, when I talk to them and I feed back the information to the cabinet member or to the leader of the council, that we could do, for example, there was Time to Talk, which is mental health for children at school, and I believe goes up to 21. And I think that's an important organisation that we should be connecting with and supporting. They are very, very successful. Also, 8 Bells, another mental health charity mostly for Newbury. And delightfully, Daisy's Dreams, which I met Councillor Stewart, very, very good cause where it's for children in bereavement. And I can think of nothing more difficult than for a child who's actually lost their parent. So I can commend that to you. And with my thank yous, last but not least, I'd like to thank my wife, Lourdes, for all her support throughout the year. It's been very much valued. So we will move on. Also, there were thank yous. Unfortunately, Melanie Booth, the support officer, is not here. She stood up when there was a little bit of a vacuum in support for the chairman, and she came in and helped for the first 3 or 4 months. And there's a bunch of flowers getting here by Tuesday when she's back from holiday. But also, of course, I would like to congratulate Ben Ryan for all his hard work, and he stepped up to the new position as a support officer to the chairman. So we now go to presentations.
Need a microphone.
Right, thank you. So we return to the item number 4, the election of the chairman for the municipal year 2024 and 2025. May I ask for nominations for chairman of council, please?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Colston.
So I don't know if we heard which council was nominated.
Which councillor? Sorry, clarify.
Sorry, who I'm nominating?
Please.
Yes, Councillor Billy Drummond.
Thank you.
Thank you. And do I have a seconder for Councillor Billy Drummond?
I formally second that nomination.
Thank you. So, over to you.
Any further nominations?
Yes, I was going to do that, right. Okay, are there any further nominations for this position? No, thank you very much indeed. Would the proposer like to say a few words and the seconder later?
Yes, please. So Chair, members, Honorary Alderman, I've known Councillor Billy Drummond for 5 years, and we've worked closely together over that time, especially when he was Mayor of Newbury and I was leader of the Town Council. Billy's been a member of this council for an incredible 21 years, Greenham Parish Council for 24 years, and Newbury Town Council for 5 years. And he's been absolutely tireless in his work for his residents and the many outside bodies he is or has been part of over that time. Billy is also a role model for stroke survivors, having suffered two himself and come back fighting each time, which is very impressive. I know he will dedicate himself to the role of chair, and he will light the place up on all his official visits with his beaming smile and his winning ways. So it gives me great pleasure to propose Councillor Billy Drummond to be chair of council. Thank you.
Thank you. And the seconder?
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, members, honorary ex-councillors. It's great pleasure I stand here to second this nomination of a dear friend of mine and fellow ward member Billy Drummond for the position of chairman of West Berks Council. Not only has he been a totally committed councillor, and as the proposer said, for well over 20 years, he's also been a Green and Parish Council member for a longer period than that also. His enthusiasm for council work is second to none. He works tirelessly for all the residents he represents, 365 days a year, whether by email or mobile phone, which I know is always switched on, and I'm sure his dear wife in the corner there will support that. He also regularly likes to come into the council. Why does he like to come in the council? Because he likes to meet officers face to face. He doesn't like Zooming. Whereas the visits to the offices of late, these offices of late have perhaps been not necessarily on a day-to-day basis, I suspect once he's been confirmed as chairman tonight, Billy will be noted frequently, if not daily. And I'm sure his commitment to this position of chairman of this council will be 100%. I second the nomination.
Right. I can now declare, or monitoring officer, this time it's the monitoring officer.
Thank you, members. Can I please now ask all members in favour of the proposal to elect Councillor Billy Drummond as chairman for the next municipal year? All members in favour, please raise their hands. Thank you. Any against? Or abstentions? Thank you, Chairman. I believe that was unanimous, and that I can confirm that Councillor Billy Drummond has been elected as Chairman of Council for the 24-25 municipal year. Jeremy, if you move back this way.
I know. Get it fixed. Get the whole thing. That's right. Members, I would like to thank everyone who voted for me as chairman for the municipal year 24-25 from the bottom of my heart, from my heart. I'd also personally like to thank Councillor Martin Coulson and Councillor Phil Barnett for their kind words. I regard it as a great honour and appreciate the trust that you put in me to fulfil my role properly. I commit to acting fairly in all the meetings and council meetings that I chair and all other forums where I represent West Berkshire Council. I also promise to represent and promote the council as proactively as possible, telling everybody what a fantastic place West Berkshire is to live, work and enjoy life. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all very much. Thank you very much, bye. You get that? All right.
Latest to my collection.
Yeah, this is your life.
I was hoping for a big red book to the older generation. And a mystery prize, which I will open later. Thank you. Thank you, Billy. I know you, council's in good hands. Well done, sir. Thank you, everybody, for all your support throughout the.
Can I call Council Mrs. Lewis Cotton, Chairman's Lady for 2023-24, to come forward and hand over her badge of office to Mrs. Sharon Drummond, Chairman's Lady for 2024-25. Yeah. Let's see. Come on. And yeah, I don't think I can find it. Oh, what's that? Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I'd like to call Lord here for a minute. Can you come up here for a minute, please, Lord? Yeah, yeah. Encourage for being Jeremy's Lady Mayoress and thank her for supporting Jeremy in his busy year. And now you can take a well-earned rest, and I both wish you very well. And this is me trying to be smart, going into the technicalization of I've mucked it up. Yeah, I know, I know. Yeah, I'd like to thank Jeremy for being a great chairman of the council. He's been giving me a lot of support and he's been really busy, and it's been a great honour to support you, Jeremy. And I wish you well. And I hope you have a nice holiday when you leave here this evening. And wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. 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 Item 5, election of Vice Chairman of the Municipal Council 24-25. And I'd like to propose the nomination of Councillor Tony Vickers. Can I ask for a seconder, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to second Councillor Tony Vickers.
Are there any further nominations for the position of Vice Chairman? I'd like to say a few words with Tony. It gives me great pleasure to nominate Councillor Tony Vickers to be my Vice Chair of West Berkshire in the municipal year 24-25. I've known Tony for the last 25 years, and Tony brings a wealth of experience to the position of Vice Chairman. Tony and Martha came to live in West Berkshire in 1980. He joined the military survey and did his training just up the road at Denniston Barracks. He has been a proud member of the Liberal Party since he left school in 1964, including through 20 years as an army officer from 87 to 95 and first stood for council back in 1970. They bought the first house in Newbury, 5 minutes walk from the council offices, where Tony was posted to the MOD in 1987, where he lost his right to married quarters. Martha was a councillor before Tony in 1991 on Newbury District Council, along with David Rendell in the Craven Ward. But after Tony was posted to Hong Kong, so Martha had to resign when their youngest child done his GCSEs, and Tony joined Tony in Hong Kong. Tony left the army in 1995, but was still on gardening leave when Tony was elected to the Newbury District Council as a member for Kintbury. Tony was made the chair of the reorganisation committee preparing to go into unitary in 1998. Tony stood for Parliament and Devizes in 97, but lost his seat in Kintbury when the Shadow Unity Council for West Berkshire was elected. Tony failed to win the Turnpike Ward, now Clay Hill Ward, in 2000, but was elected to the Northcourt Ward in 2003. He started to research land value taxation in 1998 and was appointed CEO of a small charity focused on land economics. Tony was also vice chair of this council in 2004-5, but was not chair in 2005 when the Lib Dems lost control. Tony has always been on the planning committees and was also a part-time lecturer and researcher on green economics during and after his doctoral studies at Kingston University School of Surveying and Planning 2003-16. A few West Berkshire planners attended his lectures there. And finally, Tony has represented most parts of Newbury over the last 30 years. He was also on Green and Parish Council for 2 years, 2018 to 20, and has been a councillor for the last 20 or 30 years, except when voters gave him a rest. I can't believe that, Tony. Thank you, everyone. Now, Councillor Coulson, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, please, Mr. Chairman. So chair, members and honorary aldermen, I first got to know Councillor Tony Vickers when he was chair of the local Lib Dem party back in 2017. And it wasn't long before he and Martha had me out delivering leaflets, putting up garden posters, and then standing for election. Politics is in his blood, and as Councillor Drummond just said, he served as a member of this council and many other councils for a long time, dedicating so much of his time and energy to improving the area for local people. He's tireless and driven and has a great knack for inspiring others like me to get involved. I know he'll bring all his best qualities to the role of vice chair of this council, and it gives me great pleasure to second Councillor Tony Vickers as vice chair. Thank you.
Would you like to take a vote now?
Thank you. Can I please ask members in the chamber to vote for the nominee? Those in favour of supporting that proposal, please raise your hands now. Thank you. I believe that is unanimous. So I can confirm, therefore, that Councillor Tony Vickers has been appointed as the Vice Chairman of the Council for the 24-2025 municipal year. Photographs first.
I, Tony Vickers, having been elected to the office of Vice Chairman of the Council District of West Berkshire, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Where's everyone's?
I'd like to thank Councillor Billy Drummond and Councillor Martin Colston for their kind words. 20 years is a long time to wait to carry on where I left off in 2004/5, which is when we lost control as a party to the Conservatives. And I'm greatly honoured to be back here again. So I thank you, members on both sides, all sides, for putting your faith in me for this year. And I will do my very best to support my friend Billy Drummond in this very important role that we have as the civic leaders of local government in West Berkshire, which I've now been resident for more than half my life. Thank you, colleagues.
Now it's up to me to tell the guests whether they would like to stay for the rest of the evening and watch the meeting or go home. You're welcome to stay. Thank you very much for attending. Yeah. We now move on to item 6. I propose that the minutes of the Budget Council meeting held on the 29th of February 2024 be signed as a correct record. Can I ask for a seconder?
Mr. Chairman, I've got appointed.
Okay,
We've got a second, yeah.
we got a seconder.
No.
That's all I thought you said. We got a seconder? Councillor Owen, thank you very much.
Hello, yes. This is not actually a correction to the minutes, it's actually a point of clarification. So during the budget debate on that 29th of February, I mentioned pothole reporting and erroneously stated that January, February 2024, we recorded 10 times more potholes than the same period in 2023. Those figures were actually related to the period 2022, not 2023. The figures recorded this year, 2024, were actually double the reported potholes for 2023. Thank you, Chairman.
Is there any other amendments? No. Then I'll ask our monitor officer to conduct the vote.
Thank you, Chairman. Can I please ask all members in favour of approving the minutes of the meeting held on the 29th of February 2024, noting the corrections, please raise their hands. Thank you. Any against or abstentions? Thank you, Chairman. I confirm that those minutes have been approved and may be signed.
I will also move the minutes of the ordinary meeting, council meeting held on the 26th of March 2024 to be signed as a correct record. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Gaines. Is there any amendments to the floor? Thank you. I'll ask the monitor officer to conduct the vote.
Thank you, Chairman. Can I please ask all members in favour of approving those minutes from the 26th of March 2024 to please raise their hands. Thank you. Any against or abstentions? Noted. Thank you, Chairman. I can confirm that those minutes have been approved and may be signed as a correct record.
Item 7, do we have any declarations of interest?
Thank you, Chairman. We've received no declarations of interest in advance. I don't know whether any members have any declarations to make from the floor. There are none. Thank you, Chairman.
Moving swiftly on to item 8, election of the strong leader of the council. Do we have any nominations for leader of the council? Councillor Dillon.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to nominate or propose Councillor Jeff Brooks and speak to that proposal if it finds a seconder.
Does it find a seconder?
Yes, Chairman, I second that.
Thank you, Councillor Gaines. Is there any further nominations? Can I ask a proposer and seconder if they wish to make short speech in the support of the nominations? Oh, sorry, Councillor.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and may I say congratulations to yourself and Councillor Vickers on your election. I'm sure you'll have a successful year. So I would like to propose Councillor Jeff Brooks to become the strong leader of West Berkshire Council for the next 3 years. Before I go into some of the reasons, can I also put on record my thanks to officers and colleagues for their support during my tenure as leader. Councillor Brooks is well known to many in the chamber, and to newer members have got to see Jeff in action over the last year too. Councillor Brooks was the last ever leader of Berkshire County Council, and similar to Councillor Vickers, I think may have been holding his breath for 19 years to get to today. That May victory by the Conservatives in 2005 really did rock us for a few years. Councillor Brooks was also the leader of our group during some of our spell on the opposition benches, but was also one of the chief architects of getting us back into the majority here. He has led the Royal County of Berkshire Fire Authority, and he has served as the mayor of his hometown. Most recently, Jeff has been our deputy leader and acting leader. He has continued to drive forward the delivery of our council strategy and to make the council more customer focused. I know that it is a guiding principle for him about putting our residents first and designing services around those needs, not our own. He will bring all of that experience to bear in this role as leader of West Berkshire Council. Now, when Jeff proposed me 12 months ago, he mentioned our first meeting at his house, now 25 years previous. And in those years, I have seen firsthand Jeff not just provide political support and leadership, but also pastoral care to new and experienced members alike, reaching out for a coffee, helping to fine-tune a speech. His personal help and support to me in setting up our new administration is also not to be forgotten. And I wish him the best if the vote goes as expected shortly and Councillor Brooks takes up the leadership of the council formally. Mr. Chairman, I commend my recommendation to the chamber.
Thank you. Councillor Gaines.
Thank you, Chair. I'm delighted to second the nomination of Councillor Jeff Brooks for strong leader of West Berkshire Council. This will be the pinnacle of his political career, if not his life. I have known Councillor Brooks for over 20 years, both through the council and on a more personal level. We also worked as a team when he was leader of the opposition and I was his deputy on West Berkshire Council back in 2005. He is a dedicated and experienced politician who manages to get things done. Tenacious is his middle name. He's not always subtle, but is usually good-humoured and razor sharp. With our current financial situation as it is, and the limited resources we have available, we still need to get these things done. We need a leader who is resilient and who both sees and understands the challenges we face. Councillor Brooks is that man. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Does anybody else wish to speak? Councillor McKinnon.
Thank you very much, Chairman, and congratulations to you and to Councillor Vickers on your very recent appointment. Congratulations to you, Councillor Brooks, assuming the vote goes in favour. I'll be abstaining on this, not because I bear you any personal ill will, of course. It's just that I'd rather be leader myself. But I'm not going to vote against you because we don't have the numbers to carry that. So I hope you don't take that as a personal slight. Now, Jeff and I, Councillor Brooks and I had a conversation on the phone earlier on, and he said to me that it had been a long apprenticeship of 19 years. And I think that's probably fair enough. As leader of the opposition, You know, we want you to do well. We do, don't we? We want you to do well for our residents. In fact, we want you to do well and then lose the election. That's what happened to us, isn't it? So, you know, I just wanted to make a few comments about the administration that has gone before, and I'm glad that we now have some clarity about the leadership. I think, and I thank Councillor Dillon for his service as the previous leader. I think we'll look back on the sort of the uncertainty, I think, with a bit of regret, but I'm glad we have some clarity now. We're a year into the administration, this Liberal administration. In fact, we're at the point which I like to call the Tony Vickers event horizon. Because it's at this point in our previous administration that Councillor Vickers started telling us, you've only got 3 years to the election, guys. You shouldn't be making long-term decisions because you might lose the election. So short-term decisions only now from you guys, I would hope. I'm not going to stand here and list the mistakes that the administration has made, although I could do. I will do at another point. What I want to do is just offer the new leader and the new administration a little bit of advice, and it is genuinely meant in a good spirit. I think you're a new administration. You have made mistakes, of course you have, and I think we've made mistakes in opposition as well. And reflecting on our last year as an opposition, I think we are better as an opposition now than we were a year ago, and I would think that the administration is as well. I think what I hope, and I noted with interest what Councillor Gaines said about Councillor Brooks being someone who wants to get things done. And I just want to ask you, as a leader and as an administration, what sort of administration do you want to be? Do you want to be the sort of administration that sits and moans and whinges about central government this, about Brexit, about the price of fish cakes in Hong Kong, and saying this is why we can't do anything, lads and lasses? Or do you want to actually get your head down and do something? I hope it's the latter. I suspect it is the latter with Councillor Brooks. And I'll sort of finish with a plea. The last council, the last time we met here, we ended up debating a load of motions, and they were all actually brought by the administration party. They seem to me mainly to be the sort of motions that an opposition party would bring. A sort of desperate opposition party, actually, that was running out of ideas, that wanted to talk about things that were not the purview of the council, that were national issues, that were really nothing to do with us here. This chamber is not a debating chamber for wannabe MPs. God knows we've got enough of those sitting here right now. This isn't the venue for it. Stick to the bread and butter. Stick to resident services, because you can make a real difference here. As council leader, you can make a hell of a lot more difference than a backbench MP can. I think that's fair to say. So use that power wisely, and let's not have that fiasco like we had before, where we were asking the executive to write letters about this and that. Residents care about potholes. Not sure they care about the practice, already banned practice of giving away goldfish. So get stuff done. Our job's to keep you on your toes. Sometimes it will feel like we are just opposing for opposing's sake. I don't want that to be the case. But if we're keeping you on your toes, if we're criticising you when you do screw up, and you will screw up, you're only human, it makes you better. Okay, that's our job. So best wishes from us. I hope you do a good job, but I still hope you lose the election in 3 years. Thank you very much.
Councillor Marsh.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to add my congratulations on behalf of the minority group to yourself and to Councillor Vickers and to Councillor Brooks. Now, I can't speak for the whole group. That's not how we operate. But in terms of the Greens, as you will be probably aware, we don't actually think there should be a strong leader of the council. A position with which Councillor Brooks incidentally has expressed some sympathy in the past when we've been chatting about this. We'd like it to be like in, say, Bristol, where the new Green administration is in the process of setting up a more democratic committee system. However, if we are to have a strong leader, then I do feel Councillor Brooks is eminently qualified. And I also feel, and I think on behalf of the group, you've done a good job in that acting role. And I'd particularly like to mention not the things that we think you may have got wrong or that anyone else may have got wrong, but particularly on the sill issue, I think you've done a marvellous job of delivering on that promise and rectifying a very serious wrong that was done to some people in West Berkshire. So congratulations on that. When we spoke, had a chat when you took over in the acting role, and I said it didn't seem right to us that you were doing the job without getting paid the going rate. So one hopes that that will now, if assuming you're elected, that will now be rectified as well, because it's a big job, deserves to be rewarded appropriately. So congratulations in advance of the vote, which I suspect may just go your way, having seen the way parties in this chamber operate. Assuming you are elected, congratulations from us. Thank you, Chair.
Anybody else wishing to speak? Councillor Abbs.
Yeah, thanks very much. And obviously I'd like to add my thanks to, my congratulations to everybody that's been selected this evening. I know you all pretty well. I know Billy actually represents where I live, my ward, and I really look forward to having a cup of coffee with you and chatting how you're going to take this challenge forward. I think you're going to enjoy it because you're the type of person who is fitted for the role that you're now in. So I think that will go very well.
Thank you.
Tony, I've known you a long time. I hadn't realised when I met you in Greenham Parish Council, just how long and how much you'd put in. And I know you also, follow through and do the vice chair role extremely well. Jeff, I'm really looking forward to seeing you in action as leader. The full responsibility, we'll see your executive shortly. I know that you're an open-minded man, and I hope when things come up later in the evening that you're open-minded and will accept or at least listen to some proposals I'd like to make later on. Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak? I will now ask the monitor officer to conduct the votes.
Thank you, Chairman. Can I please ask all members in favour of the proposal to elect Councillor Jeff Brooks as leader of council to raise their hands now, please? Thank you. And those opposed? And those abstaining? Thank you, Chairman. I can confirm that Councillor Jeff Brooks has been duly elected as leader of council.
Item 9. Can I invite the leader of the council, Councillor Jeff Brooks, to announce the composition of the executive for 24-25 reciprocal year?
Thank you, Chairman, and I hope you don't mind if I say a few words about being appointed as leader of this council, strong leader, whatever you like to call it. You're only as strong as the team you got behind you, I can tell you that. I'd like to thank you, Chairman, and look forward to you enjoying your year. Billy loved being mayor of Newbury. He'd go to the opening of an envelope. He would skip down Northbrook Street on his way to a gig, and he was full of vim and vigour. And look at him now. Well done, sir, and you'll do a terrific job. Councillor Tony Vickers, I've known a long time, and it's time you stepped up, and we look forward to your wisdom on the top table. 2005, my word. I knew I was going to stand as leader of the Liberal Democrat group, the ruling Liberal Democrat group. I knew I had the votes to become the leader, and therefore leader of the council, West Berkshire Council. Except there was a by-election the night before the leadership vote, which we lost. And suddenly I became leader of the opposition for 10 years. 10 years, get used to it, dear councillor. And I'll share with you that Berkshire County Council, actually I was only, when it finished, guess what? I was acting leader. The leader had disappeared. The leader had disappeared. There's a story there. I'm not going to go into it tonight. The leader had disappeared. And being his deputy, I became the acting leader of Berkshire County Council. Do a lot of acting A lot of acting. Well, Councillor Dick's seen me on the stage lots of times acting. And I happened to mention this earlier today with Sean Murphy, who's on a call, and there was other officers and members. And I said, Sean, you're probably the only one here who remembers the last time I was leader or acting leader of a council. And he said, yes, I was a trainee at the time at Berkshire County Council. I wish I hadn't opened that can of worms. So it is a pleasure. It is a great privilege. I have great pride in taking this role up. We will get things done because we will be very tenacious and impatient and in a hurry. And you know why we're in a hurry? Because in 3 years' time, we've got to ask people to vote for us again. So we've got to get things done. We've done stuff already. I will go through this a little bit. But in reflecting on our first year as the new Liberal Democrat administration, it's been exciting, frustrating, energising, and an education. Important people have some idea of the financial challenge, and it's not political, this is a fact. The financial challenge that this council faces, and it's best illustrated by the following savings requirement that you faced in administration and we faced. In the period 2018 to 2023, 5 municipal years, this council had to save £26.3 million. 4.5 million a year, 5 million a year. In the 23-24 and the 24-25 municipal year that we're now in, the last year and this year, guess what? We have to find £26.3 million of savings. So in 2 years, we've got to do as much as you've managed to do in 5. That gives an understanding of the magnitude of the task and the challenges we have. But within these very tight financial strictures, we have been able to deliver on a number of manifesto commitments. We got neighbourhood letters in place. Thank you, Councillor Vickers. People now are informed through a letter of a planning application locally. We got community forums going on specific things, themes. We've had 2 of those and 4 to come in the next year. The Sill issue is being put right. It is being put right. It will be put right. Last night, Newbury Football Club trained at Faraday Road for the first time since 2018 when they were, frankly, thrown off. Thrown out. Last night, they trained for the first time in 5 years. We reduced, in order to manage the finances, we reduced the temporary workers here by about 100, down to 170. £2 million of savings and £560,000 of savings by converting temporary workers into joining us. This is good savings we needed because we faced, as you know, an £8.7 million budget deficit last year. The chair of scrutiny passed to a member of the opposition. Carolyn Akova has been doing a very thorough job. And you know what? That lady will not be bullied. We got a peer challenge in very early so that we could get others, peers, to come in and look at the council and say, this is what you might do better. This is what you're not doing as right, as well as you could. That's been done. That will be reported 23rd of May, and you'll be able to see what the peer review challenge told us. We've delivered, through Denise Gaines' hard work, 275 affordable homes in the year. That's more probably than several years past. We opened up our advisory groups to the public, our Environment Action Group, Transport Action Group, Planning Action Group. We've got an off-street EV charging contract signed. I'm looking forward to many more chargers across the district. We've given the chairmanship, or chairs of the town centre master plans to Hungerford, Thatcham, Newbury. We've developed a foster care recruitment programme to help our children who are coming into care to stay with a family in the family structure. Now, it's easy to tell us what we haven't done, and I know you will, but don't forget what we have done from a standing start with no experience or recent experience of running a council, and a lot of people on these benches doing a terrific job, absolutely new to politics, new to being a councillor. I think we've done pretty well. Yeah. And those who watch my video in the next few days, you might agree with me. But now we have to embrace change as a council. Transformation is in the way we do things. And that isn't just process driven, it's our culture and our mindset throughout the whole authority. Our staff have been under pressure for years, tremendous pressure, poor funding, huge growth in demand, a culture that has had to say we can't afford to do things. How debilitating is that to every day get up and say we can't afford to do things? That's really hard. And let me thank all of our staff at this point because they do very good work under the most difficult circumstances. But we will be asking them to help us change some of the ways we work. And that will help take the strain off our finances and enable us to deliver better services, which everyone wants us to do, including everybody in this chamber. We're all here to do good things for our residents. Now, along the way, we bump heads. That's politics. You want to be here? I don't want to be there anymore. But we want to do good things. So we've learned a lot. We've probably grown up to certain realities a bit over the last year, but we've got a tremendous appetite for the job and the challenge. Believe you me. I'm therefore delighted to introduce the new front bench. But before I do, I want to thank Tony Vickers for all the work he's done over many years, for the last year as the portfolio holder for planning, and a man who really does know planning upside down and backwards. And he'll tell you himself if you ask him. He'll make a point telling you his planning background. Alan Macro has been a great servant to the people of West Berkshire. Thiel, Mr. Thiel, he's been called, and did a great job in adult social care last year. Councillor Janine Lewis has stepped back. I thank her for the work she's done, and I have no real doubt that she'll be on the front bench again in the future. And she's not here tonight, she's gone on the holiday, but best wishes go with her, and I thank her profusely. So our front bench is now comprised of myself as leader and portfolio holder. I think we can put it on the screen now, perhaps, but I'll talk it through while it's being put up. I'll be the portfolio holder for strategy and communications. And that will include HR. My deputy leader will be Denise Gaines. Denise has been my deputy in the past through some years of being in opposition, but I can always turn to you and you'll tell me it straight. You'll say, Jeff, you're over the top. Jeff, wind your neck in. Jeff, hang on a moment. And I need that occasionally. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for agreeing to be the deputy, and you will be the portfolio holder for planning and housing. Councillor Cottingham's done a terrific job in grasping the financial challenge, and he will be portfolio holder for finance and resources, which will include audit, risk, commissioning and procurement. Lewis Sturgis, thank you for coming onto the front bench a short time ago, and you're making a real difference already. And you will remain portfolio holder for economic development and regeneration. Patrick Clark, we welcome. You are an astute, shrewd man, sir. So I gave you a huge portfolio. You have adult social care and public health, and that synergizes and fuses together that whole public health and wellbeing piece. Heather Codling is doing a terrific job with children and young people, and please keep doing it for us, Children and Family Services. We love what you're doing. You seem to love what you're doing. A match made in heaven. I'm really pleased to welcome Councillor Nigel Foote to be the portfolio holder for culture, leisure, sport and countryside. And bear in mind, that will be one portfolio. We're not mixing it up with other stuff. That is so important to us that one portfolio holder is going to be on top of culture, leisure, sport and countryside and make a real difference to our offering in those areas. Councillor Gourley, thank you, sir. You've stepped up admirably. Your predecessor was pretty good, but you're doing at least as good, perhaps a little bit better. And you will take highways as well as environment as if you didn't have enough to do. I also welcome Councillor Vicky Poole, a very, very shrewd, astute person with a great background in transformation, business change, telecoms, ICT, and she will be the portfolio holder for transformation and the corporate programme. I'm of the view the corporate programme, the projects we do, are a little bit siloed. I don't see anybody with a lens across all of it. Councillor Vicky Poole will be our lens as the administration, and I've been challenging the chief executive to make sure that is joined up across the authority, so we know what projects are happening where and what their status is. And finally, Councillor Dillon, thank you so much for leading us to victory, getting us going as an administration extremely well. Thank you for handing over the baton. You have greater things to do in your life, sir. You have other places to go, and I think they'll have a big clock by them called Big Ben, and you'll be in the Palace of Westminster. I know you don't want to hear that, but we're rather optimistic, sir, that you will go on to great things, and we will be supporting you to do so. For now, we want you to keep public safety and take on community engagement as well. So that is our executive and council positions. They're up on the board. In concluding, I am absolutely delighted to be elected as leader of this fine unitary council. It is a dream come true for me because I'm a control freak. No. Because I like to be able to make a difference. And this is a fine unitary council with fine people in it. And I promise all of our residents that I and my team and all our councillors will work very, very hard on your behalf. Thank you very much indeed.
Moving on to item 10. Can I invite the leader, Councillor Brooks, to formally move the recommendation in the agenda pack, and then I will ask for a seconder.
Happy to move, Chairman.
Do we have a seconder?
Happy to second that, Chairman.
Do you wish your reserved right to speak?
Yes, Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Brooks to speak.
Moving this appointment of, did you have it? Yeah. Of, we'll get there in a moment. As you can see, seamless, completely seamless.
Better myself.
So appointment of an allocation of seats on committees for the 24-25 municipal year. As per your paperwork, a couple of changes, if I may, Chairman. Let me shout them up, please. And I know Mrs. Clark will take these down. On the Environment Advisory Group, Councillor Vicky Poole will step down to substitute. Councillor Jeff Mays will step up. On the Corporate Parenting Panel, Liberal Democrat Group, 2 members, Justin Pemberton, not your good self, Justin Pemberton will replace Billy Drummond. The other member will be Martha Vickers as per your paperwork. I come to champions. I'm pleased with people who want to be champions. I'm pleased with the work Councillor Stevenson has done as Armed Forces champion. Councillor Martha Vickers has done as Green champion. But I'm confused. I'm confused at the role of champion. I'm astonished that they do anything because they do it of their own volition. There's no job description. There's no terms of reference. There's no officer support. We simply say to these people, be a champion. And I admire them actually stepping up. Martin Colston's cycling champion, but we've got to do some work here ourselves. We've got to enshrine these positions in our constitution so we know what the role of the champion is and what we can expect of the champion and what they can expect of the organisation. And each year they should be giving us a report on what they've done and what they've achieved. Because without that, they're flying blind. And they shouldn't be. So that will be resolved. But for now, on your paperwork, there is one change there. Safer Streets will be Stephanie Stevenson instead of Vicky Poole. Those are the changes, Sarah. I hope you've got them. So those are the appointments, and I propose those. I believe I have a second.
Nothing further to add, Chairman.
Councillor McKinnon.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, just one very small amendment from our side as well, if we can do that. So Councillor Dennis Bennyworth will not be on the District Planning Committee. Councillor Wollaston will be on the District Planning Committee instead of being a sub.
and Councillor Poldick will be a sub for District Planning Committee. And I think that Mrs Clark deals with the slight issue we had with the planning committees.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I've not looked at the detail, but I think the issue was that the members of District Planning Committee need to be a member of one of the area planning committees. So
Yeah.
if, as long as those proposals accord with that, that's fine.
I've checked it twice.
Councillor Abbs.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope it's not out of order, but I wanted to say congratulations to the new executive. I really look forward to seeing your action. I'm particularly thrilled to see Vicky stepping up. I'll be expecting to see come forward for quite a while now. And I think the role that you've been given, you're well suited for. So I really look forward. You look like a strong team. Good luck. Councillor Marsh.
Thank you, Chair. So there are one or two gaps in that list. I did actually submit these names, but I think I might have been late and missed the deadline, so it's entirely my fault. But just to fill in the remaining gaps, we have Councillor Taylor for the Member Development Group and also for the Standing Advisory Commission on Religious Education in Schools, also Councillor Taylor, and for the Corporate Parenting Panel, Councillor Marsh. That's our full list. Now, if I could just welcome the comments that Councillor Brooks made about the champions. I mean, I've been a councillor for 5 years now and wondered how exactly the champions became champions. And I think it needs to be regularised, and I think they all do a great job, as has been said. But let's see it in the Constitution then, and hopefully have an opportunity to put forward our own from time to time in the future. So thank you for that. That's very welcome. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Willison.
Thank you, Chairman. It's a point of order, really, and I hope my maths are not incorrect. But I believe that the split between the administration, the main opposition, and the minority party is not completely correct. And I point you to the District Planning Committee, for example, where the split is 8-2-1, which seems to me to be out of order. And there are others. Personnel Committee 4-1. Appeals Panel 9-3. And it doesn't seem to be in accordance with the percentage split. But if my maths are incorrect, my apologies.
So I think that the reasoning for the allocations is set out in the body of the report, and there is a table at appendix, I think it's not appendix, it's table B, sets that out, and the numerical reasoning is detailed there. And I think sometimes the challenge is that you're kind of applying the basket principles, and it's a sequential test. So they have been allocated in accordance with that. And certainly we've been through this on a number of occasions recently when we had the formation of the new minority opposition group, and the numbers allocated to the different political groups remain as were approved previously. So I think I, Chairman, would suggest that the numbers have been checked and are correct.
I would obviously accept the managing officer's views, but it does seem a little odd still.
Thank you. Is there anybody else wishes to speak? I will now ask the monitoring officer to conduct the vote regarding this item by a show of hands. Are you want? Sorry, Councillor Gaines, sorry.
I've got nothing further to add, Chairman.
Sorry, Chairman, I've received a query, which I think is a valid query with regard to membership of the committees. And so just to clarify that members of District Planning Committee, members proper should be members of the area planning committees. So that membership is taken from the bodies, and then so substitute members are from the substitute members or from those area committees.
I would like therefore to step councillor Gaines up. And I know this is going to sound terrible, but I'm going to ask councillor Colston to step down as substitute. Did you get that?
Yes,
And
thank you.
that satisfies the.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
And
you, Margaret, sorry.
can I just check that the proposer and seconder are content with the alterations to the opposition groups membership as well? Thank you.
Thank you. Members, I will now ask the monitor office to conduct a vote regarding this item with a show of hands.
Thank you, Chairman. Can I please ask all members in favour of those proposals and nominations to please raise their hands? Thank you. Any opposed or abstentions? Thank you. I can confirm, Chairman, that proposal with those amendments has been carried.
Moving on to item 11, appointments to outside bodies 24-25. Can I invite the Leader of the Council, Jeff Brooks, to formally move the recommendation in the agenda pack, then I'll ask for a seconder.
Happy to so move, Chairman.
Do I have a seconder, please?
Yes, Chairman, I'll second that motion.
Do you wish to reserve your right to speak?
I do, Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Brooks to speak.
Yes, thank you. It's fairly straightforward. You have it on Appendix A, appointment to outside bodies. 3 members to the Royal Berkshire Fire Authority, myself, Billy Drummond and Owen Jeffrey, and Councillor Dennis Bennyworth from the opposition. The Thames Valley Police and Crime Panel, Council Representative Stephanie Stevenson, alternate member Jeremy Cottam. Local Government Association General Assembly, 4 members, Jeff Brooks, Denise Gaines, Lee Dillon from the administration, and Ross McKinnon from the opposition group leader. Eyes on your papers, so moved, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Is anybody would like to speak in this? Councillor Gaines, would you like to?
Nothing to add, Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Brooks, would you like to?
Happy to so move. Nothing further to add, sir.
Okay. I will now ask the monitoring officer to conduct the vote regarding this item by a show of hands.
Thank you. Can I please ask all members in favour of those proposals to raise their hands? Thank you. Any against or abstentions? Thank you, Chairman. I can confirm that those appointments have been made.
Moving on to item 12, can I invite Councillor Jeff Brooks to formally move the recommendation in the agenda pack, and I will ask for a seconder.
Happy to so move, Chairman.
Do I have a seconder?
Yes, Chairman.
Do you wish to reserve your right to speak?
Yes, please, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Brooks to speak.
Chairman, member development programme is a vital part now of a member's development. If I told you that at Berkshire County Council that it didn't exist, you went in, you listened. For the first 6 months, you pretty much didn't have an idea what they were talking about. And then suddenly you started to get oriented. So now we have a member development programme that I hope is supported and will be supported. I'm very keen to build out from it a little bit, more briefings, PowerPoint presentations sent to us, rather than all the work goes in by the officers and staff to pull us into a meeting, when sometimes that could be delivered by briefing papers, white papers, PowerPoints that we could absorb. So there are other ways we need to look at of delivering training and development. But for now, this programme, I think, captures what we need. It's not as large as it would have been last May, June, July, that cramming to new members of what the council is all about. But there's refresher stuff in there as well. And I don't know about you, but I think at any time, if you need something, you should be able to go, whatever party, whatever group, to an officer, to an executive director, and say, I'm not strong in this area. How can you help me? That should be our right to do that, and it's for the benefit of the officers, the chief exec, to help us do that to become more effective. So this is not an end in itself. It is a programme that I commend to you tonight. Thank you.
Anybody like to speak in this? Councillor Stewart.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm
very happy with the programme. I can see that, in fact, every year I tend to attend most of them because it's always good to have a refresher, and I think that's really important. The one that I'm a little bit concerned about, because it's coming up very soon, and in fact, we only just received an invitation for it, and I don't know whether this is something that I've missed elsewhere, is the scrutiny of adult social care. And I know that this is meant for scrutiny commission members and health scrutiny. I am actually a substitute for scrutiny, but I also think that as the shadow portfolio holder for adult social care, I could provide a lot in this particular forum. It's only next Tuesday, and I have my annual parish council meeting, which I must attend, so I won't be able to be there. So I appreciate that, you know, we have a short window of time to get everything in, but I do think with something this important, and perhaps I should be looking at my new learned colleague, something like this is such a good idea, but what a shame. I think a lot of us won't be able to attend. Thank you.
Councillor Abbs.
Yes, thanks very much. I'm very supportive of what you're trying to do in terms of a transformation programme, in terms of changing the way that we're trained, going to more digital means. Training on demand in any business environment is pretty much a given these days. So the closer we get to that, God forbid there's a by-election for some reason, but we can't rerun all of the trainings just because there's been a by-election. So it's really worthwhile having a database of trainings that we can dip into whenever we need it. So absolute supportive of what you're doing. Thank you.
Councillor Walker, please.
Thank you, Chair. And let me take this opportunity to congratulate you and your vice, and also my sparring partner, Mr. Jeff Brooks, and his team. Congratulations. I support this development program. However, I have a concern. It might be a diary issue, but I just want to get that assurance that it's been addressed and not overlooked. The date for equalities, diversity, and inclusion is TBC. It's the only one that's TBC, and it's strongly advised. And even the ones that are not strongly advised have firm dates. So I just want to ensure that there is no gap, particularly given my recent experience. When I see things like that, it just sets my alarm bells ringing. So I just want that assurance that there is a date planned for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah. Councillor Culver.
Thank you, Chairman. Can I just add my congratulations to everyone who's been appointed this evening? I just wanted to respond to Councillor Stewart's point and say thank you very much for that very valid point. I will make sure that that session is recorded so that yourself and other members who aren't present can see it. And if you have anything in advance that you'd like to raise with me to pass on, very happy to do that, and also to talk to you afterwards as well. Thank you, Chairman.
Anybody else? Councillor Pill.
Thank you, Chairman. When I got elected last year, I didn't really know too much about being in politics. So it was all very new, let alone sitting on this side of the table. And I was absolutely thrilled with the member development plan that was put forward last year. I thought it was very comprehensive, and there was a lot of training done very, very quickly. So congratulations to Ben and the rest of the team there. I'm particularly pleased with the membership development team with Councillor Williston. And I'm very pleased to see the programme of works that are included within this schedule. Training, so we do recognise that training does need to change and does need to move with the times, and I'm very much looking forward to working with Ben and seeing how that develops throughout the next 12 months. I do commit this to be proposed. Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Brooks.
Thanks for the contributions, members, and they've taken them very seriously. Thank you, Councillor Colvin, for saying we'll record that session. We might want to rerun it if, depending on numbers attending. As I say, I think training is something, member development, something we need to keep under review. As a trainer, I've done a lot of training needs analysis. where you assess where the gaps are in people's knowledge. And you then build a program around that. And we've got to keep that under review. Different ways of providing training has come into being, computer-based training, where you are actually interacting with a bot and you're getting some of the knowledge you need. So we need to keep it fresh, relevant, and without taking up so much time, because I know in some councils it's become a flipping industry. Here, I think we've got the balance right. I think it's a good program and we can always tune it. So it doesn't exist in stone. Obviously, we're going to stay with that program, but how do we add to it to make it more effective? So I think it's the right thing for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, I will now ask the monitoring officer to conduct the vote regarding this item by a show of hands.
Thank you, Chairman. Can I please ask all members in favour of the recommendations, please raise their hands. Thank you. Any against or abstentions? Thank you, Chairman. I can confirm that that proposal has been carried.
Item number 13, agenda for committee minutes. Members, I'd like to ask you to note the information in the summons relating to each of the committees listed in the agenda, items 13 to 20, and to take these on block, noting those whose committees have and have not met. Anybody want to speak?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Members, this brings us to the end of the agenda items. I'd like to thank everyone for their attendance. I will now formally close the council meeting. Mr. Chard, please can I ask you to confirm that the live broadcast has ended?
To confirm, Chairman, yes, it has ended.
Thank you.
We're going to take a short